If you're a maintenance supervisor for a commercial property, you've had to deal with everything from leaky faucets to flickering light bulbs. But nothing's worse than that ancient boiler that's lived in the building since the day it was built, 50 years ago. It's enough to make anyone lose their cool. That's where Grainger comes in. With industrial-grade products and dependable fast delivery, Grainger can help with any challenge, from worn-out components to everyday necessities. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Do you want more success, more growth, more results? Then it's time for the Boundless Success Accelerator from the Modern Observer Group. This isn't your average coaching program. It's where top performers come to dominate. Weekly group sessions, on-demand coaching, a community that's got your back, and a power-packed library of tools to supercharge your business and career. No more excuses, no more waiting. Get in, level up, and start building the life you've been dreaming about. Visit us at modernobserver.com/boundlesssuccess to join today. Let's get you to the next level. Hello, and welcome to the Success Showcase, the podcast that helps you boost your success in your business, career, and life. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin from the Modern Observer Group, and with me, as always, is Chip Janiszewski from the Happiness and Success GPS. Chip, how you doing this week?
I'm doing great. How about you, Eric?
Doing well. You know, we're second full week of the year. People are heading into their new goals and all this, and I thought it'd be a good time to talk about why it's so important that you have downtime. Especially at the beginning of the year, people, are focused on new goals, focused on getting things done, and they tend to let this slide. And, as any fitness expert will tell you, when you're working out, you need break times because that's when your body recovers from the workout and actually builds the muscle. Because when you work out, you're actually damaging your muscle, and the growth in muscles is caused by the healing during your downtime. Well, the brain works the same way, and rest is so important for body and mind. So I thought we'd talk a little bit about some of the benefits and how to really get the most out of your downtime.
Yeah, a nice way to look at it too. I mean, you and I are both networkers and teach networking, and people walk around wearing badges with their names on it, where we've also explained to people what's really on their badge is the words WIIFM, what's in it for me. And when we think about downtime, a lot of people out there are just go, 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 go. And when they're taking a little time off, they feel like, they're basically insecure, insufficient, all that kind of thing that comes in. And the bottom line is it's a necessary part of life. And so putting things in perspective, which is, just basically rephrasing and taking another look, reframing your brain like we talked about last week.
Yes.
The importance of that is so important for your brain health. Obviously, it helps your brain recharge. You get more creative when you are recharged. You're more productive when you're recharged. Your memory gets better, foundation, and then it gives you time to self-reflect. And obviously, that's one of the tools, meditation, as far as ways to do this. So I'm glad you came up with this subject today. What's the importance of it? And obviously, we have a whole bunch of different ways where we can do that, which we're going to share some of those with you today.
Absolutely. And first, I want to talk about some of the myths about getting downtime. There are two major myths, and they each go in completely opposite direction. And one, I'm sure you've heard, our listeners have probably heard people say this, oh, I don't need sleep. I'll sleep when I'm dead. Well, the fact of the matter is you do need sleep. You do need rest. The body requires it to function normally, never mind to function at enhanced level. So it is important. And the second myth is the opposite. People are told, oh, you absolutely have to have 8 hours of sleep a night. If you're not getting that, you're not you're not going to function properly. And the truth of the matter is, there is no number of hours that somebody needs sleep. It varies from person to person. There are some people that can operate perfectly on 3 or 4 hours of sleep. There are some that need 10 hours of sleep. And some, like myself, will get, an average amount of sleep during the week and then on the weekend catch up, and sleep an extra 4 hours to, over the course of the weekend to get myself back to where I need to be. So you really do have to figure out how your body works. And that's what determines how much rest you need.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, some of us have regular 8 to 5 schedules, and other us basically we do what we're doing as far as entrepreneurs and so on and so forth. And there's some mornings I don't have anything going on in the morning, and then this week I got a couple of things going on tomorrow, Wednesday, Friday, where I got to be up early, and I'm an early bird anyway. But I kind of program myself where if I want to stay up later on the nights where I don't have to do something, that's fine. And then another
Nope.
thing that you can do, obviously, during the day, which we talked about, I think last week, is just take a half an hour nap in the middle of the day just to refresh and identify the times every single day where you are more productive. For some people, it's the morning. For some
Yep.
people, it's afternoon and evening. And once you can identify those, then you can start programming your life around that. But a big thing that you need to do also, besides the rest, is to take care of your body. And we talked about starting to develop routines for physical action, exercise, and so on and so forth. That will help you out too, because it will develop more energy because you're going to become stronger by doing that. So, right at the top of the list, as far as other relaxing activities, is actually physical activity where you take a walk, just enjoy nature. Could be yoga, could be swimming. There's a lot of different things that you can do to refresh yourself every day, just to get your heart pumping a little bit better and to make your body feel better.
Yes. And, one of the important things, you know, we all think, oh, well, I'll go to sleep or I'll just relax. And it's not as easy as that. And I cannot remember off the top of my head, but there is a comedian who talks about the fact that he has trouble sleeping and he has insomnia. And he asks the question, how could I be so bad at something I do every day? And it really is true. It's not as simple as getting into bed and going to sleep. And the quality of your rest is actually more important than the quantity. And there's another comedian whose name is Joe Coy, and he actually talks about the fact that he has sleep apnea. And he finally went to a sleep clinic to see what was wrong with him because he didn't know he had sleep apnea. And the doctor, hooks him up to all the monitors and he goes to sleep. And about 15 minutes later, the doctor bursts into the room, scaring him, to wake up. And the doctor says to him, how long have you been sleeping like this? And he goes, all my life. Why? And the doctor tells him he's shocked that you aren't dead now. He goes, we monitored how many times a minute you woke up. And he was waking up 60 times a minute. So he was never asleep for more than a second. And the doctor said if he didn't have it treated, he was going to die from this lack of sleep. And this is a real medical condition. Sleep apnea is actually fairly common. But it goes to show that the quality of your sleep is as important as the quantity. And using some of these relaxation techniques are ways to increase the quality. So, yes, physical activity is great. Now, exercise, again, depends on who you are. For some people, exercising at night knocks them out and, gets them into a good place to relax. For others, if they exercise at night, it keeps them up. So they need to exercise in the morning. You have to figure out what works best for you. And another way, a warm bath. Um, this has actually been known for centuries. People taking a warm bath to relax. Um, Between you and me, a hot shower works just as well. It depends on your preference. But the heat relaxes your muscles, relaxes your mind. You start to just let your stress fade away as your muscles relax. And that's why the warm bath or the hot shower works, because it's physically relaxing your muscles and your mind follows your body.
Yeah, and other things that you can do as far as breathing exercises, meditation. There's other things that you can do to kind of relax your mind and slow yourself down. I mean, breathing exercises, and you can look up different ways to do this, but basically, it's just taking deep, controlled breaths, and that can significantly reduce stress and calm things. And there's different ways that you can do that. But if you can just concentrate on your breath and totally relax your mind and just concentrate on your breath. Maybe have a little mantra that you're saying, one word or something like that, over and over and over again. That's two things. It gets you just in a good breathing thing. And the bottom line is, by repeating things, sometimes that will help you get more drowsy and will help you fall asleep. And obviously, another way of doing things, if you want to do it more focused, is to get into a meditation practice, which is kind of doing this with a little bit more ways that you're doing it. And there's all kinds of different things out there. If you go to YouTube and take a look at this, you can watch videos that will help you with this. So it's really, really important to do that. And part of the meditation practice you can have is like progressive muscle relaxation. You might have a guided meditation where you just start at your toes and go right the rest of the way up your body, being guided until you get to your head, or vice versa, and having all the energy just go out and falling asleep that way. And obviously, mindfulness is a great practice to get into also. So these are ways that you can do that as far as relaxation techniques. Other things that you can do at night to kind of calm yourself down. I mean, you mentioned possibly physical activity, and the warm bath, but reading might be a way to help you fall asleep. Listening to quiet music might do that. Journaling, spending time in nature. There's a lot of different things that you can do that way to just kind of relax. And one of the things we highly recommend doing is just turning off the television and all the outside world as far as the internet and all that kind of stuff well beforehand, and kind of get to your, call it, cool down period before you fall asleep.
Yes, and there's actually a reason why you shouldn't be watching television or using a smartphone or a tablet before you go to sleep. And it's because truly relaxing sleep, your body is generating melatonin. And the light from the television or the light from your mobile devices actually inhibits the melatonin from starting to form. So your body doesn't actually start to go into its relaxation until after those lights are off. So it is important that you have a dark room where you can relax. And if, Chip, you mentioned, deep breathing. If anybody wants to do some research on that, you can go to modernobserver.com and actually click on Thoughts for Success, because last week we posted an article on deep breathing and how that helps to not just relax you, but keep your emotions in check. And that's a big problem that keeps people up, is their emotions start raging, their mind starts going. And I'm sure everybody has had this at least once in a while, where you lie down, you close your eyes, and your mind decides to go through the strangest memories or whatever it decides to do, and it just won't stop. This is one of the ways to stop that, is make sure you have the dark room, turn the lights off, and let your body start to generate the melatonin. And there's also another technique that I use, something called binaural beats. And these are absolutely fascinating. But what they do is, I'm sure everybody is familiar with an EEG when the doctor puts little suction cups on your head and gets a reading of your brain waves. Well, your brain waves change depending on what you're doing, how you're doing it. Sleep goes into what they call delta waves. Um, there's even deeper sleep that you can get through meditation, that also changes your brain waves. Well, you can use these binaural beats to trigger these changes in your brain waves. So you're sort of cheating by reversing the process. Instead of relaxing and getting your brain to go to those waves normally, you're getting your brain to generate the waves, which creates the relaxation. And the way they work is your brain vibrates sympathetically with sound. And you've probably felt this when you're listening to a favorite song, listening to music, sometimes even listening to people speak. The trick, however, is that to get to these the brain waves that you need in the frequencies that you need for relaxation, you can't simply have your brain react sympathetically because the frequencies are below what we can hear. So a sound isn't by itself isn't going to do it. Well, with binaural beats, what they found is if you listen through headphones, binaural beats will play music or nature sounds, sometimes a combination of both, but underneath these sounds are tones. And the tones are played in stereo in two different frequencies. So, for example, if we want to get the brain to 40 megahertz, we can't hear 40 megahertz. But if you play, but the tones are in one ear 400 megahertz, which we can hear, and in the other ear 440 megahertz, which we can hear. And since the brain can't react to both at once, it splits the difference and starts to sympathetically reverberate at 40 megahertz, which is like what we're trying to achieve. You can go to YouTube. There are hundreds of these videos, and many of them are actually calculated for specific reasons. So you can get sleep. You can do healing sleep, which is a deeper type of sleep. And it's also a very important function of downtime because your body is literally regenerating itself. It's healing from the damage during the day. Your mind does the same thing. And there's beats to help with pain relief, and they work very well. Now, you do, again, like everything else we've been talking about, you have to find ones that work for you. It's not one size fits all. But this is another lesser known technique that works really well.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's something that I had not heard of before, and I go to YouTube all the time, so I will be taking a look at that tonight. But I mean, it totally makes sense. Uh, and obviously, we're talking a lot about sleep, but if you have a more relaxing day and you take breaks during the day, it might help you not be as hyped up before you go to bed too. And again, we talked a little bit about maybe nature time and going on walks and so on and so forth as part of your downtime during the day. We're not talking about you got to go take a nap every day if you don't want to do that, but if you just find different ways to go out there and enjoy what is around you and just take it in and try and stop thinking about it and just enjoy, that's really a form of mindfulness and meditation. And it takes a little bit of time to do that, and you're going to get distracted and go back and forth because your mind does go crazy. But the more that you work that in and the more that you get used to that, you're going to find that it's going to be easier to do, realizing that you're always going to have your ups and downs with it. And some days it's going to be a snap, and other days you're going to be hyped up all day. But that's one of the things that you can do is just enjoy nature around you, surround yourself in your house if you have that with just pictures or images or different things that look good. I mean, if you have your desk at home, make it look like a very, very comfortable, inviting place to work. They do that at the office also. The more you surround yourself with an environment that's conducive to happiness and relaxation, the better off you're going to be that way also. So that's something to concentrate on too. Take a look at what your surroundings are, change them a bit.
Absolutely. And sometimes the change itself is what's important. Get away from your desk, go for a walk. You may not be able to go for a walk through nature. Back when I worked in corporate, I worked in a massive corporate complex. The building was huge. There was outdoor paths, but there really wasn't much in the way of nature, so to speak. There was grass and some bushes, but that was about it. However, I would walk around the building and just go into different areas that I didn't go to every day, that I didn't, that weren't part of my usual routine. And just the walk through different areas was a good way to shift your brain away from the activity. And something else we've mentioned a couple times with meditation, and I hear this all the time with people saying, "Oh, I can't meditate. I can't stay quiet that long." But the key word there is that long. You don't have to. If you can sit for 10 seconds and just take a deep breath in, a deep breath out, a deep breath in, a deep breath out, start with that. If you start to do that on a regular basis and then extend it, take a third set of breaths. When you're comfortable with that and your mind is staying quiet, do a fourth, a fifth. You don't have to get into this cross-legged position on the floor, and as we all have the image of the yoga master meditating, and that's not how meditation works. That's how it works for them, but it's not necessarily how it works for you. You could be lying down on a couch, you could be sitting in an office chair. The position is not what matters. It's that you're comfortable and that you're clearing your mind. Those are the only two requirements. And again, it could be for 10 seconds to start.
Yeah, I mean, start short, but basically what you're doing is if you're concentrating on your breathing and nothing else, for those 10 seconds, you're not thinking. And that's what meditation is all about. And the more thoughts that you have, the more opportunities you have to think about all kinds of different things to mess you up. So that's what meditation is all about. And it's simple. It's just taking a deep breath. We talk a lot about the present moment, and that's all we have is the present moment. And if you can just spend the present moment reacting with silence instead of looking for a different way to respond or get hepped up or things like that. It's just so important to be able to do that. And it all starts with a breath. And after you do it a little bit, yeah, you're going to stray a little bit. You're going to start thinking again, but you can always just go back and start over again. It's a process. It's not a quick fix. There's no switch where it's going to be on off all the time. It's always going to be going up and down.
Exactly. The important part is progress, not perfection. If you're quiet for a few seconds and then thoughts start coming in, just acknowledge those thoughts and start back and quiet. And again, being quiet does not come naturally to a lot of people. So there are ways to combat this. And the simplest is actually counting backwards from 100. And this has been scientifically proven to create relaxation and focus, to the point that prior to surgery, when anesthesia was given through the lungs, doctors would have the patients start counting backwards from 100 when they were taking the anesthesia, because it helped them not focus on the fear, not focus on the upcoming operation, and it relaxed them so the anesthesia actually took effect quicker. The other thing you can do is, again, on YouTube, on Audible, there are dozens, if not hundreds of thousands of these available. Get a guided meditation. Listen to the guided meditation and focus on what's being said and just follow along. This way, you don't have to worry about emptying your thoughts and emptying your mind of all activity. You're just focusing on that one thing, either the counting backwards or the guided meditation. And after a while, it does become easier to empty your mind.
Yeah, I mean, basically, you just got to get into the practice of doing that because what these meditations do, again, it just keeps your mind from thinking randomly about different things. If you can get into a routine that you can use anytime you want to start relaxing, that's what you need to do. The counting backwards from 100, I'd forgotten about that, but that works very good too. I mean, basically what that does is it just gets you into a pattern, and the pattern of doing that eventually is going to wear you out, and you're going to fall asleep doing that, as opposed to
Yes.
falling asleep thinking about all kinds of negative things and what's got to go on tomorrow and all this other kind of stuff. And that's going to promote your restlessness. So you're just going to wake up a few minutes later and keep thinking about that. So, um, again, I mean, it's easier said than done, but the bottom line is just like anything else, you just got to start something.
Right.
So,
And it really is so important. We're not talking about theoretical benefits. The human body and human mind requires rest periods. This is how the body cleans itself of the toxins of the day. And we've all done this when we're not feeling well. We go take a nap, we go to sleep, we wake up, we feel better. That's because when you're turning your body off, the body actually doesn't shut off, it switches into a healing mode. I mentioned earlier how your body produces melatonin to help you sleep. Well, that melatonin is also helping heal your body. So if you've had a workout, sleep is when your muscles are rebuilding. When you've had a stressful day, sleep is when your mind is clearing out the clutter so it can face the next day. And it's also when memories are cemented into your mind. So without proper sleep and rest, you're going to notice that you're going to start having memory problems because your mind isn't taking the opportunity to actually form those memories. For those of you who are familiar with biochemistry, memories are actually just chemical compounds in your mind. Well, those chemical compounds won't form if you don't give your mind proper rest, because that's when it happens. So, in order to boost your health, in order to boost your productivity, in order to boost your mental capacity, it is crucial that you rest. So, yeah, there's a lot of truth to people who say, I'll sleep when I'm dead, because there is scientific evidence that not getting enough rest actually does cause an early death because your body and mind are not healing themselves properly. So, yes, this is a very important thing. And it seems like such a no brainer. It seems like such, a non starter, but it is absolutely crucial to your success because it boosts your health. Without your health, without your body and mind functioning properly, none of the other things that we talk about are going to happen because you won't be able to focus. You won't have the energy to get things done. You'll be spinning your wheels because all you'll be focused on is the fact that you're not feeling right. And I can tell you firsthand, this happened. I had this several years ago. At the end of the year, I noticed, I was not feeling right. And I couldn't figure out what was wrong, what was going on. And then it suddenly dawned on me that because it had been the end of the year and I was so busy wrapping things up, that I had gone several weeks without meditation. And I went, wait a minute. So my brain was not healing itself properly. I started the meditation that day, and after a few days I felt back to normal. So yes, it does have a physical effect. So we are just about at the end of our time. Chip, what do you think is the big takeaway for our listeners today?
Well, obviously, you've got to start doing something to get yourself going before you go to bed every single day. What I recommend, and we've talked about this a lot, is if you can practice and get into an end of the day routine where you are just reflecting on gratitude, on great things that have happened to you during the day, things that you are grateful for, things that you're looking forward to doing tomorrow, as opposed to looking at the social media and all those other different things that are going on in life. If you end your day doing that for several moments or even longer, that will set your mind at ease and get you thinking and relaxing the right way before you go to bed. So if you do nothing else, start thinking gratitude the next time you're thinking down on things. Start a gratitude journal. And at the end of the day, take a look at that and at the beginning of the day also, because it will set the tone for a positive morning routine, which will help you out through the day also. And if you got that going through the day, it will automatically help you sleep that night too.
Absolutely. And, there are so many different techniques. We've barely scratched the surface over the past 30 minutes. But I think the most important part of it is understanding why your body and mind need the rest and to get started. Again, even if it's just a little at a time, get used to doing these things. Get a little extra rest. And again, by rest, I'm not even just referring to sleep, just relaxation. So take a hot, if you've had a stressful day, take a hot shower or a warm bath. Listen to relaxing music or binaural beats. Even just reading a book, but not on a screen. Read an actual book on paper. All of these things are ways to slow your brain down and to relax and move into that restful phase. And the benefits are immeasurable and they're so important. So get started. You've been listening to the Success Showcase. You can catch every episode at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcasts app, YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and wherever you find podcasts. Remember, make this your best week ever and make next week even better. We'll see you then.